Hi babes, it's your girl Willa here, and today I decided to make a video about my deity Esen. And in previous videos I've mentioned that he's a Romanoxian god, and the Romanoxian gods and goddesses aren't real to some people. They're my personal deities, so if you don't believe in them, that's cool with me, but I figured I'd share because why not? Seems fun. And I've got most of it figured out except for one thing, his myth. So I have the title of that set up already, but I'm gonna try to write a story without actually writing it. I'm just gonna speak it, and I'm gonna go from there. So yeah, let's get started. So his name is Esen Roax, or roll the R actually, Roax. That sounds weird. Okay, hold on. Roax, something like that. Just roll the R somehow. Esen Roax. There we go. His age, literally doesn't matter. He's a god. But he's frozen at 38 because that's when he died. He was exalted at 38, basically. What he looks like. His hair is golden blonde. His skin is pale. Pretty darn pale, with a lot of scars everywhere. Mostly on his, mostly around his face and neck area. His eyes are icy blue. He normally wears armor. Esen is god of war, protection, love, and tears, because he's hurt a lot, so that's fun. His spouse is Mira von Romanel. His weapon is a diamond blade, knows how to fist fight too, so if you were to ever meet Esen, which I doubt, be prepared to fight. So his personality, he's stoic, rude, sarcastic. He doesn't understand emotions much. He's quiet, very, very, very serious. Doesn't get jokes, sometimes kind, not very often, but there's an asterisk. He's kind to his wife all the time. Why, you ask? Because she's the only person that has not hurt him and has tried her hardest not to hurt him. Sure, she does it sometimes, but never intentionally. Or that one time, but that one time I haven't written out yet. Esen has been hurt a lot, so his personality has changed to a personality to protect him. So basically, imagine a nice beating red heart, and then because of all the pain in the world comes at you, it sort of stones it. Not exactly stones it, but like it turns it into stone. Like maybe it's like Midas in the Golden Touch, King Midas in the Golden Touch, where he's got a part gold, but it's not still a stone. He doesn't understand emotions much. He doesn't want to understand emotions much because he's scared constantly. He may be the god of war and protection, but he's still got feelings, so keep that in mind. So, Esen's myth ideas. So I think I have 3 ideas written out already, but I have nothing else written after this. So, God and goddesses are wooed by Esen's loyalty to his first love. They exalt him to protect them because the gods and goddesses have tons of enemies, and they don't have anyone to protect them to fight their wars. So they exalt Esen, a very loyal knight. Esen eventually at 38 dies to protect his love. Gods exalt him to protect them. That's already been mentioned. Okay, now this is where I start brainstorming without writing anything down. I'm just going off the top of my head here. So let's hope this doesn't get too weird. I'm thinking maybe when Mira died, he was sort of like left alone to harbor his feelings and keep them inside his locked cell. And I'm thinking maybe he sort of goes a little, not exactly crazy, but he's crazy scared, crazy depressed. Mira was sort of like his release, someone that made him happy, and now he's left in a cruel, heartless world. So he turns himself heartless just to protect himself. Does that make sense? I hope so. But he's very fond of Mira. By the way, his punishment for something he's done, potentially, didn't worship the already deities when they wanted him to. Okay, hold on. Maybe his punishment is he's always going to be reincarnated. There's no escape. He never reaches nirvana, and he always must find Mira, and then they descend to godhood, eventually die somehow, because as much as they're immortal, they're not immortal. They die. But their immortality is reincarnation. They always come back to life, but as another person, another face, another personality. So, I think the title of his myth is Esen. What is that dot over dot thing? I can't remember what it is. I really can't remember what that is, but like Esen, the story of loyalty. So that's gonna be fun. So at like when Esen is like 18, he is sent from his home, Olalu, Olula. I'm not, if you got village name ideas, please put them in the comments, because I'm terrible with coming up with those. And he's sent to protect the one and only Lady Penelope. And at first they were pretty They didn't really like each other. They were a little, what? It was very awkward at first, but eventually a little liking started. They grew on each other, and eventually, Esen fell in love, of course, and he fell so very hard. He grew giddy when he spoke to her. They laughed, they smiled. She was very kind to him. As they walked through the garden, people would whisper things along the lines of, "Isn't he too young? Why does he, someone from another village, get to protect Our Lady? No one knows." But they highly doubt Esen, and so he's taken it to heart. He's hurt, and so he keeps it inside, but he tries not to think about it. But eventually Penelope is kidnapped, because who doesn't want ransom from princess's father? Not me. I don't. Yeah. Well, so she's kidnapped, but Esen is sent on a mission to rescue her, and it doesn't go so well at first. He goes through so many different trials and errors. He's wrecking himself just to save someone he loves. It's really hurting him, but he loves her so much he could care less about himself. So he continues to try to save her. Eventually he's successful, but Penelope is no longer Penelope. She's a heartless person. She's been changed. Penelope's dead at this point. Not physically, but mentally. She's a husk, drained away. Her life force gone. Her beauty still there, but her beauty of her personality so far gone that you can't find a trace of it. She's cold and heartless. She doesn't like people, and she's constantly snide towards Esen now. And so, Esen tries to ignore it, tries to sort of resurrect what he's lost. And he can never let go of Penelope. He was her first love. She was his first love, I mean. Well, they were both first loves of each other. And they were very, very close. Meant the world to each other. And occasionally Penelope remembers him and is very fond and very kind and very apologetic, but never for long enough. And Penelope dies eventually. Esen is left heartbroken, but he continues to fight in her name. But he's a little reckless. Because he's reckless, he picks fights. in those fights he wins normally until he fights this one person, coming up with the name on the spot, not my thing, Xander Law. There we go, Xander Law. And so Xander Law kills Esen, but the gods and the goddesses are they are taken aback about how loyal Esen is, how protective he is. They currently have tons of enemies waging war on them. They can't afford that because most of them don't know how to use a sword or shield. They don't know how to protect themselves. So they're like, they have a meeting and they're sort of like, we need someone to protect us. We need someone to be loyal to us. And who's a better candidate other than Esen Roax himself? Roax. There we go. That last pronunciation now is what I like. Roax. Yeah. So who other than Esen Roax? So he's born again as another person, but this time he has continuous visions throughout his life about having some unimaginable power, and he hates it, but he's a little intrigued by it. Constantly he fights his fights. He protects, for some reason he feels like he should protect the gods' names. He fights whoever the gods tell him to fight. He listens in, and he's a very loyal guard to the gods. He's as loyal as he was to Penelope, because one thing they promised was love. Someone to love him, someone to love, for him to love, someone to accept him and make him feel giddy again, because he loves the feeling of love. He's a romantic, by the way, but he doesn't like to admit that. So, he's resurrected. He's a god, but he doesn't like to admit that because, like, you gotta be modest sometimes, am I right? And, but every lifetime, before he dies, he is going to remember his complete life cycles, all of them, every single life, like Doctor Who, except not like Doctor Who because he dies. And Esen reincarnates. He gets a new face, a new personality. And he always must find out who he is, which he hates, because, like, what's so good about a surprise when you always get the same surprise? Not very fun, am I right? And so he is constantly depressed, constantly tired. He cries a lot, but, like, no one tell him that because he doesn't like admitting that to himself or either. But, like, I'm the writer, I get to write these things. But he's very, very hard on himself because he let Penelope die. He let Penelope change. He doesn't want to be a god. He just wants to die and live his life. He wants to reincarnate, yeah, but not as all the times he has as in a god. So yes, he's reincarnated, hates it. But this time, one reincarnation, he reincarnates into a guy called Gareth Roman. No, Rolling Arthur. And Gareth is pretty darn different from Esen. Like, Gareth, let's start with his name, Gareth. I can't remember what, where the origins of Gareth is, but it's a great name. And Gareth is very calm, collected, a little, actually no, he's not calm and collected. By the way, this is all coming as I talk, so yeah, that's why I'm taking occasional minutes, a few seconds to go, what should I say? But Gareth is a pretty awkward person, very nervous. Maybe that's where Gareth gets his anxiety, Esen's anxiety. Excuse me. And so Gareth is pretty young. He's like, let's say 23, yeah, let's go with 23. And he constantly has he has visions about protecting people he loves, protecting someone he could never name the name of. He just doesn't know their name, but it's on the tip of his tongue. He can't place his finger on it. So he's constantly looking for that person. Their face is blacked out in all of his memories, so he doesn't know who they are, but he knows they're somewhere close, waiting without realizing. That sounds ominous, but cool. So, Esen is reincarnated into Gareth. Gareth is having visions of godhood, delusions of godhood, as my soon-to-be book is, not exactly soon, but my book is going to be called, and he hates it. He hates himself for having these visions. He hates everything about it, but he's very cool about it. He doesn't like it, but he's cool. He's not like, I hate this, I'm gonna refuse to believe this. He knows it's true, so why deny it? But he's a brunette. He's a sun-kissed brunette, actually. He has chocolate eyes, as everyone describes them as. But he constantly wears blue contacts because he just likes the color more. And he's got pretty darn tan skin with tons of freckles, because, like, freckles are really cute, admit it. And he's very defensive, but he's very calm. He's very awkward, brave. A nerd, definitely. Very unsure about himself. He doubts himself a lot, but he's a good person at heart. He may occasionally do something wrong, something that he shouldn't be doing, but he tries to validize it, or he doesn't do it too much, or something like that. But Gareth is a kind person, prideful at times, and very honest, straightforward, and kind, very kind. He's kind to literally everyone, but he's scared of people hurting him. He doesn't know why he's scared of that, but he is. But when he finally finds who that blacked out figure in his dreams are, he doesn't have any fear. He's not exactly a Casanova, but he's not freaking out internally. He's not like, what if? He's very calm and collected, very kind, as I keep mentioning over and over again. I'm blanking here. But he's a little messy, very creative and spiritual. And he cares a lot about a lot of things. He thinks he doesn't care, and he thinks he's the bad kid, but he's genuinely a very nice person. Just take some time to get to know him, because at first he can seem a little stoic, a little quiet. That's where Esen's personality sort of leaks in. Very different people, but eventually they sort of turn into the same person, Esen. And I'm thinking in Delusions of Godhood, there's gonna be a point where Gareth is sort of like, I don't want to change into him. He's not a good person. He's not friendly. He has blood on his hands. He's not a good person, and he freaks out about it, but his friend is sort of like, calm down, it's gonna be okay. I'm not sure about that completely, but I'm thinking in the book, Mira, actually her name is Willa, and Willa is just my online alias. Yeah, it's alias. And so, yeah. So that's that. She's sort of like the structure in his life, sort of provides structure and help. He's the home he's never had. Well, he's had a home, but like his father is very emotionally distant to him, so he's got a little bit of anxiety because of that. But he's very nervous about a lot of things. He's very emotional, but does very well at hiding it. The one person he opens up to is Willa, because they're like very tight, but they're sort of like, no, we're not that tight, but they're very tight, so don't let their lies get to you. Well, they're fibs. They sort of come hand in hand. But I'll talk more about Mira in another video, probably gonna be filmed later on today, but who knows. So, yeah, I hope all that makes sense because I don't know, didn't write it down. I'm probably gonna come back to this later and go, let's rewrite this. And yeah, but that's how, I have that. Oh, no, never mind. Post canceled. Well, not post canceled, but mission abort. That's all I have for this episode, or video, one or the two. That I will probably be filming something later on tonight, so I will see you guys later. Bye for now.